Swearing or giving gaali or cuss words. Virtually all people swear. It knows no social boundaries, whether or not educated, from a socio-economically lower class, etc. Earlier, it was simply assumed as a sign of aggression or weak language proficiency, even low intelligence. But now we have quite a lot of evidence that challenges this view, prompting us to reconsider the nature and power of swearing. People often associate swearing with catharsis, which means strong release of emotions. Research has shown that swearing can boost pain tolerance. It can foster emotional resilience and also improve virtual traits like verbal fluency, honesty, sometimes providing stress relief. One can hold their hand in freezing water by 50% longer time when swearing. One's grip strength gets stronger by 5% when swearing. Study as published in Lingua has shown that swearing deeply affects the way we think, act, and relate to each other. Swearing is like that horn on your car. You use it for everything, to express frustration, joy, anger, surprise. It can also help us manage our identities and display emotions, intimacy, and also boost attention and dominance over other people. For example, nowadays swearing is common amongst friends. The closer you are to a person, the more you swear with them. Most cuss words can be probably thrown at your subordinates like servants, laborers, etc. to establish dominance, but definitely not at your boss. The power of cuss words comes from them being stigmatized by large enough portion of population. From ancient Rome to Renaissance to today. There's a lot that history of swearing can teach us about evolution of taboo words, languages, and culture. It starts with religion, gender, goes forth to class, then includes caste, it includes a bit of color or race, and if nothing else is available, it stands at the doorstep of sexuality. In Middle Ages, swears like by God's bones were used a lot, and they meant similar to ripping apart the body parts of Christ in heaven, and therefore deemed very shocking. But centuries later, that power of religion has faded. The other major source of swearing has been the caste system in India. Hindi has large number of imprecations which are actually references to caste. For example, chamar, a common swear word used in Delhi, India's capital, which is simply the name of a caste. Then the word kamina, which comes from the Persian word kamin or neech, and calling someone kamina has equivalent to calling someone lower class. The other word like kanjar, similarly, a caste which once practiced hereditary prostitution. These everyday obscenities show just how embedded the caste system is in Indian society. Hindi swearing has a lot of emphasis on incest, which means intercourse with one's very close relations. One of the most obscene galis in Hindi refers to intercourse with one's mother, number two being with sister, then with daughter, etc., acronymed as MC, BC, etc. Most of Hindi swearing about honor has to do with sexual dominance over a presumably weaker rival. And therefore, in Hindi, a boast by a male to penetrate another male is a common gali. Sex in India is treated as a large battlefield. It involves a kind of barter of honor in all kinds of sexual relationship. One gains from it and the other loses it. And it doesn't matter how legitimate the sexual relationship is. Take the word sala, for example. It is quite popular and very mildly offensive, not even considered offensive by some these days. It literally means one's wife's brother. By calling someone sala, you proclaim to have dominance over them because you have had sex with their sister. This might seem odd to most people listening to it right now, but it goes on to illustrate how deeply embedded any shame about sexual relationships is in the Indian society. And it is always considered as an exchange of honor where men are supposedly gaining even when it's about marriage. Then there are words like randi for women who want too much sex or are uncontrollable. There is hardly any male equivalent word for it. Similarly, the word bitch has been on a journey from being referred to a dog in heat in the 1400s to a promiscuous woman in the 20th century. In the 1970s, it was mostly used for feminists. Then Ernest Hemingway, the author, used it for his mother to refer to her strength, and this showed people a path towards reclamation of the slur. It was still shown by a man, but yes, reclamation seemed to have empowered women through their experiences of discrimination. One of the biggest instruments of reclamation has been music or rap, etc. Across languages, vulgar terms for body parts have a way of becoming insult. For example, the English word asshole or the Hindi word chutia, which has evolved from being referred to vagina to now being called to any idiot. Chodia can also function like the English word fucking or the Spanish word puta. These are like all purpose swear words. Wherever you want, you can use them. It kind of also depends on the intention of the speaker and reception by the listener. It can mean one thing to the one person and another thing to the listener. Neuroscientific research suggests that swearing might be located in different parts of brain from other speech regions. It might activate the limbic system, deep structures that are involved in the aspects of memory and emotion processing, which are instinctive and are difficult to control or restrict. We have many examples of words that used to be swear words, but now are normalized to the point that they are acceptable words in anyone's vocabulary now. Language holds a dominant position in shaping the society. We nonchalantly curse people and nobody flinches about it because we do it often. It is as common as having rice and meal. It's not about what is right to use, how much to use, when to use, etc. It is about giving a thought on something that we do so regularly and knowing the why nots, and what about it. Rest is our own choice.